This is the AI News Flash for July 26th, 6 a.m. UTC. First up, cheaper, open, and intelligent Chinese. AI models are gaining significant ground in the United States, according to the Associated Press. The models named are Moonshot's Kimi K3, launched in July, Z.AI's GLM 5.2 from June, Alibaba's Qwen 3.8, Max previewed in July, and DeepSeek V4 previewed in April. Kimi K3 drew 930,000 global downloads in the week after release, including 86,000 in the United States, a 387% jump week over week. On the developer platform OpenRouter, the 5 most used models over the past month were all Chinese. Price is the decisive gap. Chinese models cost a handful of cents per million output tokens, while a US alternative, such as Anthropic's Claude Fable, runs $30, $40, or $50. Mozilla's Chief Technology Officer, Rafi Krikorian, who previously used GLM 5.2 and has now switched to Kimi K3, said it just seems snappier. Coinbase is reported to be moving to Chinese models to trim costs, and LilyList founder Kurt Meinhold says he increasingly prefers DeepSeek for generating business leads. The line that captures the shift is this: most of us don't need the top-end frontier model, we need something good enough. Z.AI's revenue surged 132% last year to $107 million, though its net loss also widened 60% to $694 million. The competitive axis is moving from raw capability toward cost-effectiveness. Second, the joint letter opposing restrictions on open-weight AI models, led by NVIDIA chief executive Jensen Huang, doubled its signatories from 25 to 50 in a single day. The letter is titled Open Weights and American AI Leadership. It argues that U.S. leadership will be judged not by any single frontier model, but by whether the country builds an open ecosystem, and warns that restricting open models would concentrate the technology among a handful of providers. Signatories now include Microsoft, NVIDIA, Meta, Hugging Face, IBM, Mozilla, Palantir, Perplexity, Mistral, Dell, the Linux Foundation, Andreessen Horowitz, and Y Combinator. OpenAI and Google, absent from the original list, have since joined. Amazon and Anthropic still have not signed. Google DeepMind chief executive Demis Hassabis backed Huang's position, saying a strong and secure open ecosystem is important. The backdrop is Washington weighing a ban on Chinese AI models. Anthropic chief executive Dario Amodei has called open source a red herring, while White House AI policy lead David Sachs has accused the closed labs of pursuing regulatory capture. The industry split is now clearly drawn. Third, layoffs are piling up across the software sector. In the first half of 2026 alone, worldwide tech layoffs reached 165,000. Israeli companies stand out. Project management firm Monday.com cut 620 employees, 20% of its workforce, and its stock has fallen 75% over the past year. Wix is cutting roughly 1,000 people, also 20%, during 2026. Freelance marketplace Fiverr cut 250 employees, about one-third of its staff, last September. U.S. numbers are larger in scale. Oracle cut 21,000 people, 13% of its workforce. Microsoft has cut 4,800 this year. Salesforce cut 4,000 in customer support roles. Intuit cut 3,000, 17% of staff. Amazon is planning up to 14,000 corporate roles globally. Executives disagree on the cause. Wix founder Avishai Abrahami said he would be happy to say that in 3 years the team will be 1,000 people at each unit with everything else handled by AI agents, but he is not sure that is possible. Fiverr's Mika Kaufman talks of returning to a startup state with fewer management layers. Yet Intuit chief executive Sasan Goodarzi stated flatly that his company's layoffs had nothing to do with AI, whether AI is the cause or the explanation remains unsettled. Fourth, on July 24th, Google signed the European Union's Code of Practice on Transparency of AI-Generated Content, a voluntary framework supporting compliance with Article 50 of the EU AI Act. The obligations on providers are specific. At least 2 machine-readable marking layers must be applied to audio, images, and video. Free-form text longer than 200 tokens must be watermarked. Providers must offer a free detection tool with a zero retention policy for submitted content and implement an interoperability solution by February 2, 2027. The heavier burden falls on deployers, meaning advertisers and publishers. They must label deepfakes and published AI-generated text using the EU icon, ensure labels are clearly perceivable at the latest at the time of first exposure, and maintain editorial responsibility information. The deadline is imminent. Article 50 obligations become legally applicable on August 2nd, with existing systems required to comply by December 2nd. Penalties reach 15 million euros or 3% of worldwide annual turnover, whichever is higher. Google's own July documentation states that neither the automatic setting nor a custom label guarantees legal compliance, placing disclosure responsibility on advertisers. Microsoft has committed to signing, while Meta declined the earlier general-purpose AI Code of Practice. The fifth, a Florida man has sued OpenAI and Chief Executive Sam Altman in San Francisco County Superior Court, alleging that ChatGPT's medical advice discouraged him from seeking treatment. The plaintiff is Scott Winters, a former pastor. He says he turned to ChatGPT while experiencing recurring dizzy spells and bouts of blood pressure instability, and was told his symptoms were not something dangerous. According to the complaint, the chatbot described his symptoms as likely another minor piece of the long story, and used religious framing, telling him that God did not design your body to endlessly fail. After 6 weeks of exchanges, Winters finally saw a medical professional and was diagnosed with a dangerous blockage of the arteries in both lungs, a pulmonary embolism. The suit alleges negligence and the unauthorized practice of medicine. Beyond financial damages, his legal team is seeking stronger guardrails around ChatGPT dispensing medical advice and has asked that the ChatGPT health feature be blocked from operating pending a safety evaluation. How far consumer AI can go into health guidance is now a question for the courts. That's all for this AI News Flash.